first part of it is what we call user interface. This is what the people that be using your application will be interacting with. So, hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. This is Damks Analytics channel. The primary goal of this channel is to make learning available to everyone that is willing to learn. So my name is Oluwasegun Michael Wadebayo. And today I'm going to be walking you through. We're going to be starting a new series of video on R Shining. So to build web applications for data science project, actually we're going to be using R Shining to develop web applications, because the primary goal of for developing machine learning algorithm is to make sure that it is actually applicable. What people can use, what people can work on. And unfortunately, most of the time, people that will be using it are not tech savvy. They are not people that actually have in-depth knowledge of what machine learning is all about. So, which means that you've got to come to their own level. And one way that we do that is to develop web applications so that they can easily interact with, punch in data, punch in, drop down, and do stuff like that. So, but one interesting thing about R Shining is that you actually don't need to learn HTML, you don't need to learn CSS or JavaScript itself. So you basically just learn. You basically just need to learn some functions and the structure of R Shining. So that is what I'm going to be introducing you to in this video. So I really encourage you to watch to the end, because it's actually when you grasp the fundamental knowledge, that is where you can build on. I believe this is one of the main issues that we have learning. So when we don't focus on the fundamental, on the basics, and we are just jumping, you are moving from one video to the other. You are not following the from one step to the other. I think you're going to have some issues. So please just follow the video and then learn the basic. And I can assure you that with time, you should be a very good R Shining expert. So now I'm going to be talking on this video is actually, the content is basically distributed into 5 parts. So the first part of it is that I'll be talking about what is Shining itself, what is it actually all about. Then I will move on to the basic structure of a Shining app. Then the component, what makes up a Shining application. Then we'll go into the R Studio to demonstrate, to do something very, very simple. At this point, we won't be developing any machine learning stuff, but I will definitely just introduce you to some basic stuffs on how to implement, how to develop a web application using R Shining. Then we conclude. So now, I'm actually encouraging you, if you're someone that likes studying, you like studying books. So this is a very good book. It's one of the books that I use, that I study to learn R Shining for web applications. So it was actually written by Hadley Waker, one of the founder of R Studio. Then it's a very good book. So feel free. I think you should be able to get the PDF file on the internet. So then I come back to you. Subscribe to our channel. You can see my eyes right now. It's about to come out. so that's on the lighter mode though. So I'm actually encouraging you to subscribe to our channel, because with this you'll be able to follow up with this course and also to learn more from the channel, because we post very interesting videos. I can assure you of that. Yeah. So cool. What is Shining itself? And actually, Shining is an R package developed by R Studio that makes it easy to build interactive web applications directly from R programming language itself. What do I mean by that? it allows you to create web-based search, like let me say like web-based dashboards, data visualizations, and applications without you needing to know or learn HTML, CSS, or JavaScript. So I believe this is one of the advantage of R-Shiny over every other, even let me say like Python, you know. This is one advantage over that. So, and the second part of it is talking about the basic structure of Shiny Hub. So we have two main structure for Shiny Hub. So the first part of it is what we call user interface. This is what the people that be using your application will be interacting with. So the user interface part of it is it actually defines what the app looks like and how the user actually interact with it. So why the second part of it, the second part of the Shiny Hub. So now the second part of it is what we call server function. So the server function contains the logic of the hub. So it's like let me call it like the brain of the hub. This is where you have the blocks, most of the blocks of your code. So this is where things are getting done. Then it takes inputs from the UI, then processes it and sends the output back to the UI. So this is actually the main operation that we have within server function. Now this component actually, the components of Shiny Hub, they are basically functions. You have different types of functions that you call into each of these structure. I mean the user interface and the server function. So from that, you will have different functions within each of the structure. I mean the user interface. So for the user interface, we have basically three parts. So the layout functions, the input widget, and the output element. So for the layout functions, we have sets of functions. So like the fluid page, the navigation bar page, like this nav bar page function. Then we have sidebar layout. So for the fluid page, it actually creates a page with a fluid layout. Then we navbar page creates a page with the top navigation bar. Then the sidebar layout creates a layout with a sidebar. So you can see many other functions under each of these parts of user interface. So like the text input, this actually creates a text input feed. Then the numeric input, it creates a numeric input feed. Then the select input creates a drop down menu. So the action button then creates a button you can actually press and then it creates something for you. So while the output element, we have the text element, we have the text output. So this one displays text, the plot output displays a plot, table output displays a table. In case of data science, we're going to be using the plot output. When you, for instance, your user wants to see the trend of a weekly sales or something. So, and you want to see the plot. So you've got to use the plot output. So this is a function. Then the table output, in case that they actually need to just see in a table, then you have to use table output. Then the verbatim text output. So we are not going to be using all these functions. I'm actually just introducing you to them so that at least your brain can have a knowledge. So I'm just training your brain with this information so that by the time we start applying them, you'll be able to rush back to them and then grab the content much deeper. So now for the server function part of it, So we have data reactive functions, then the output functions. So the reactive, this creates a reactive object. The observe performs actions based on reactive input. Then event reactive react to an event. So why the output functions? So like now we have, let's say we have the render test. It renders test output for you. Then the render plot renders a plot output. Then the render table renders a table output. So now that we have like at least a knowledge of what our Shiny structure looks like. So it is now we have to go into our studio and let's code something. Let's build something very simple with our Shiny. Let's develop a web applications. So I think you're going to find this really interesting. So let's see. Yeah, cool. So this is our studio, and now we're going to be, let's say, let's create an application, a web application that multiplies an input by 2. Yeah, something like this. So it takes input from the user, then multiplies this number by 2. So this is what we want to build. Okay, very simple. Now, like I said earlier, that our Shiny consists of two main structures, UI and the server function. So let's say first and foremost, you have to call the library. The package that we're going to be using is called Shiny. So if you have actually not installed this, you have to install this. So I believe you know how to install that in Hub. Just install that package. So install the Shiny. So when it's downloaded, then you can call it. You can call the module. So I've already done that. I've already installed. So that's why I'm not doing that again. So let's say we have UI function. Okay, we have UI function, and this is actually equals to, now we will call the function that I introduced to you earlier called fluid page. So this is what actually creates like a fluid layout. So like we can see it in our suggestion already, fluid page. So inside this you can supply title, theme, and the likes, and so many parameters. So now, but what we actually need to supply to the fluid page basically for this web application is that we need a numeric input, what the user will give to the application. Then we need an output. This output is what will be supplied to server function. So this output will serve as an input for the server function that the server function will work on, will manipulate, then send back to the UI interface, then print out for the user. So now, what do I mean by that? So let's say we have numeric, yes, this is it right here, numeric input. So it takes in input, label, value, minimum, blah blah blah, so many parameters. So now this will be input number, then we are gonna print like a prompt, something to like a test or something for the user to read. Then let's say enter a number, then let me say the value or the number is, let's put a default, let's say 10. okay, the default. So now the next thing now is the test output. Test output, yeah, this is it down here. That is what should be given to the server function to work on. So and here you actually only to just put output number, sorry, let me say, yeah, output result, and then let's say, yeah, I think I have an error here. Yeah, so the next thing now is that we now go out. So we are done with the UI function. Then the next thing now is the server function. So this one is actually a function. Server function is equals to, now this is your function in R. So don't worry if you don't know how to code yet in our programming language, there's no problem. I'm going to be creating more videos alongside the web applications so that we actually teach you how to code in our programming language. It's pretty simple. If you have knowledge of other programming language, and if you don't, I'm pretty sure that you're going to find the videos really helpful. So now inside this function, we need two things. So the first one is the input that is being taken from the user interface. Then the output that will be given back to the user interface. So then now we open this where the code will actually stay. So now this is output of this. We're calling the output result, right? So take the output result. Let me see. Then this will actually equals to render test. I showed you what render test function does. So go back to that video, just back forward a bit and see what render test actually what it actually does. So then from the render test, we have to supply the results, the manipulation that we want the server function to do on the input. So, and this will be, let's say the result will be equals to input. So like you could have several inputs. So that is why we are actually using the $ to select the variable that we want to work on. So this will be input number. Let's say what we want to do on the input number is that we want to multiply it by 2, right? Then the next thing now is that we want to paste it back so that the user can see the results. So let's say the result will be equals to results. So let me see if the code looks okay. We'll take the UI function, flipped page, to first and foremost create the user interface. Then we take the input from the user, then the output from that will be given to the server function. Then the server function will manipulate this input by multiplying it by 2, then give it back to user interface. So cool. I think the code should run. Let's see. So how do we run the code? You call the shiny app function. Shiny Hub. Yes, this one. So Shiny Hub. So you have to, inside the Shiny Hub, you can see you have to supply the UI and the server. So there are other parameters so that we're going to explain later in the subsequent videos. So we have the UI function, then the server function. So let us run. Let's hope that everything goes on fine. Do we have any issue? Enter number, unused arguments. What's the problem? Yeah, I think we have an error here. The error says error in numeric inputs, then unused argument. Yeah, so the problem here is that we can't use different variable name. So it's actually registered word, so and it should be value. So like you can see, so the value is an initial value, such that even when the user is not actually giving any input, so we have a default number. So you cannot use any variable name. I guess that is the problem. So let's try to run again. Yeah, cool. I think it's running now because it's coming up. Yeah, cool. Error in render. Why? Yeah, it's saying could not find function render. Oh, I'm sorry. This should actually be render test, not just render. Let's run it again. Okay, cool. So now this is our application. So let's say I supply 6. So the result is 6 times 2, 12. I supply 3.5. What do we have? 3.5 times 2 gives us 7. Let's say I supply more a decimal point. So this times 2, what do we have? We have 7 point. Let's say 22. So 22 times 2 gives us 44. So this shows that our app is running well. Everything is okay. So congratulations, you just built your first shiny web application. So and I hope that you will subscribe to our channel so that when we actually upload the subsequent video, you'll be able to learn along, and then at least with time, let's say the space of 6 months or so, you should be able to work pretty well with our shiny web application. So this is basically what I have for you in this video. So if you find this really helpful, so why not just subscribing to our channel? Why not just liking the video, sharing it with someone that you think might actually gain something from it? Of course, this will also help the visibility of to increase the visibility of this channel. So and for sure, we are getting bigger. We are learning. So thank you so much. We really appreciate you. See you in the next. So once again, my name is Oluwasegun, and see you in the next video. Bye.